Uh, Welcome back. In this video, we are going to see a very important topic called dynamic memory allocation. So we have seen already the static end of things. For example, if you take an array, when we start writing the programs, you have to define what is the size of the array, right? Now we'll be writing int a of 100. That means that is static one. We cannot change the size of the array during the execution. But it's not mandatory or it's not guaranteed that every time you will be using the array with 100, size 100. Sometimes you will not be using the complete size, or sometimes you may using more than 100 size. So if we use normal procedure for that, or the static way of allocating memory, we cannot change it. But there are certain cases where we need to change the spaces during, or we need to allocate spaces when we run the program. So this can be done using dynamic memory allocation. So let us see. Normally, we know C is a structured language which has got the fixed rules of programming. It should be like this. Syntax should be like this. Everything is very normal way, and it is very fixed. So one of its role is array size is going to be as I told, which is going to be very we cannot change this fixed size. So if you look at the given array, where you can find there are 9 elements, array size is going to be 9, and its starting index is 0 and last index is 9. I cannot use this array to store 10 numbers because it is fixed. Array is fixed with only for 9 integers. And there are certain other cases where I need not to use, or I need not to store 9 integers. I may use this array only for 3 integers. So obviously what happened? The remaining spaces get wasted. One case is there is a wastage of memory. Other case is there is insufficient memory. All these kind of things can be overcome using a technique called dynamic memory allocation. So here what happened? The memory will be allocated during the not compilation time, during the run time. When you run the program, based on the demand, you are going to allocate, or your system is going to allocate the memory. We are not going to plan it in advance. So let us see how this can be done. Uh, so we use a header file called stdlib.h. So stdlib.h is something like std.h, which has got certain methods, or we call it as function, which can allocate memory dynamically. So let us see what are the functions we use for that. We use a function called malloc, and we have another function called calloc or calloc, and third one is uh, free, and fourth one is realloc. So let us see what it does. uh, what is the difference between these 3 or 4 functions separately. So let us start with malloc. So what it does is, which is going to allocate a single large block of memory. When this is allocated, this is going to be allocated during the runtime. So let us see the syntax for this. Normally, we take a variable. So as you could see, we have taken a variable called ptr. It's a pointer variable. Then you have to cast type, what type you want to cast it. Then you have to call the function called malloc, and you have to give the size for that. For example, so ptr, as I told, ptr gets the address of the byte which is allocated. As I told, which is going to allocate a single large block of memory, and every block is going to have its own, every unit of memory is going to have its own address. So this address will be stored in a variable called ptr. So we have taken typecasting. We are going to typecast integer because we are going to store what you call integer values. For that, what is the address? The address ptr is going to get. And see what is the size of integer. So we need space to store 5 integers. Why it is? Because the integer size always varies with system to system. So what this is going to do, which is going to allocate space for 5 integers, and allocated space starting address will be stored in the variable called ptr. So this is as simple as this. So what happened, think that your integer takes 4 bytes. So what happened, which is going to allocate 4 bytes for every integer. So we ask space for 5 integers, so 20 bytes of memory will be allocated. And what is the starting address for that memory? This will be stored in the variable called ptr. So you can see here, so if you take again 5 integers, look at this, every integer takes 4 bytes. So how many bytes we got? 20 bytes of memory is allocated, and this ptr gets address. A large 20 bytes memory block is dynamically allocated to ptr. ptr will not get all the address. If we get the starting address, so from the starting address, which can fetch the remaining memory locations. This is a word malloc. Next is calloc. So which is known as contiguous allocation. So what happened is memory will be allocated in blocks. If you take malloc, it was a single block of memory. So if you take calloc, which is a contiguous allocation, which will be allocated in blocks. So let us see the syntax. And another difference is every space, whatever the memory is allocated, every memory location will be initialized with a 0 value. So two differences. One is which is going to allocate memory in blocks, and whatever the memory is allocated, every block will be initialized with a 0 value. This is a two differences. So rest everything is same. You can see the syntax. So we have taken different data type called float, and 5 size of float. We want to store 5 floating point value, and 5 floating point spaces for these values will be allocated as 5 different blocks. So let us see this. So we have got if it is integer, which is going to take integer value, so I have taken it as integer. So I'll be getting spaces for 5 integers, and 5 blocks of 4 bytes each is dynamically allocated to ptr. See, this is the first block, space for first integer, then second, third, fourth. Separately this will be allocated. Next is realloc. Realloc is again very interesting. So which is going to reallocate the space which is allocated by malloc and calloc. Think that initially you thought, okay, I need only 20 bytes of space. Later on stage you understood that 20 blocks which is allocated is not enough for me. So in that case you can reallocate. See, reallocate, please look at the syntax. We use the function realloc. ptr is the pointer which is having address of the memory which was allocated using malloc or calloc, and what is the new size you need for that. Look at this. We have taken malloc. You ask for 5 into size of integer, so we have got 20 bytes. Look at this. Now you found that this is not sufficient. So what you do is you are taking the same variable, realloc ptr. Now you are asking for size for 10 integers. So how many bytes will be allocated? 40 bytes will be allocated. Before it was only 20 bytes. So whatever the space allocated by malloc and calloc can be reallocated using realloc. And the last one is free. Free is a function which is going to deallocate the memory which was allocated by malloc and calloc. Unless until you allocate the memory cannot be used by some other variable. So make sure that you deallocate the memory. So the syntax is very simple. You can make use of free, and what was the variable which was pointing to the memory, you have to put inside the free. So which is going to deallocate.